Welcome to the Inglorious Blasters podcast, a Star Wars Legion podcast talking anything and everything glorious or inglorious about the game. My name is Corey, and with me today is John and Brendan as usual. However, today we have some special guests, Light Side Evan Bulris and Dark Side Evan Paul. How's it going, my wrench jockeys?
Excellent. It's going great now.
Excellent.
Going great, thank you. What did you call us again?
Light Side Evan Bulris and Dark Side.
I meant the jockeys part.
Oh, the wrench jockeys.
Oh, okay.
I called you guys wrench jockeys. So
you don't really even know me.
Looking quickly at this list, a term used for a repair droid.
He's more of a Dark Side Evan's more of a heal bot, or a I don't know what they're actually called in Legion. I don't remember their names specifically, but medical droid. Ah, that's it. Yeah. Are you a Dr. Ball?
I was. I have to say that the unfortunate thing about Star Wars is that with my brother being a pilot is that he can tell me over and over again that my job was replaced by idiot robots and his job is what all the cool guys do.
Oh, man. I didn't even think about that.
Oh, that feels bad.
Sorry, my man.
I mean, it's good for student debt for the population at the end of the day.
Hey, there we go.
Oh, topical.
Alrighty, so today on the podcast, we got a special debate for you guys. Evan is going to debate Evan on Rex for Inglorious versus Glorious. So I believe Light Side Evan is going to have Glorious, and then Dark Side Evan is going to have Inglorious. Is that correct, gentlemen?
Correct.
It is.
Excellent, excellent. So do you guys know the rules of what we're about to do today? You guys hopefully prepared.
Oh.
maybe 3 points. 3 talking points. It's fine. We're just going to ramble. For your side. And then we're going to have 3 judges today. We're going to have myself, John, and Brendan. And then hopefully we're going to be, what's the word I'm looking for? As partial as possible.
You mean impartial?
Impartial. Yeah. Words are hard.
Our minds are already made up.
That's right. Am I giving away my secrets already? Alrighty, so which Evan wants to go first today?
Well, before they go, we should go over Clone Captain Rex.
No, they don't need the info on that. All right, Brendan, why don't you go over Rex's card?
Yep. So Clone Captain Rex is a commander for the Republic. He is 100 points. He can take a command upgrade, a training upgrade, 2 gear upgrades, and a grenades upgrade. He has red defense dice, 5 health, 2 courage. He surges to crit. He's got a melee attack of 2 red and a ranged attack of 3 red, range 1 to 2. His keywords are Gunslinger, Scout 1, Scouting Party 2, Sharpshooter 1, and Tactical 1. For his command cards, his 3-pip is We're Not Programmed, which gives orders to 4 clone troopers. Clone Captain Rex gains Inspire 2 and 2 search tokens, and when he activates, he recovers. His 2-pip is Take That Clankers. It's given to 2 troopers. After a friendly clone trooper unit that has a face-up order token performs an aim action during its activation, it may increase the maximum range of each of its ranged weapons by 1 to a maximum of 4 until the end of that activation. And his 1-pip is Call Me Captain, which can only order Clone Captain Rex. Clone Captain Rex gains fire support. When he uses fire support, he does not flip his order token face down. While a friendly unit performs a melee attack, Clone Captain Rex can use fire support to add ranged weapons to the attack pool.
Right.
Awesome.
That's
perfect.
Yeah, that's it.
That's Rex for you.
That's my boy.
That's 100 points, you said?
100 points.
All for 100 points. Only 100 points.
Okay.
What a bargain.
So, okay. Here's what I think we should do, Evan. I think I'll give some points, you give some points, and then we at the end we go to stuff we agree upon. We hit like a couple things that we think should change on him, or maybe don't need to change. We'll come to a truce at the end. The war between the raccoons and Pomeranians must come to an end. But But
That's a very measured proposal, Evan. That's exactly what I would expect from Evan.
yes, Evan.
And I agree to your terms.
The Evans have agreed.
Oh man, that's really so. Real quick, we're going to be at Adepticon. We were talking about doing the teams event, and if it wasn't for like the 1,600 point games and like 4 or 5 hour round, it was something nuts, right? Like just way.
The
way
format scared us.
Yeah, our team name was just going to be Evan, and when we went in, we were going to not talk. We were just going to like wink and nod at each other, like we're using telepathic. I think we would have done pretty well until those guys showed up full dress in aviation gear with like 4 lats and like we would have had
like
until,
the 8 speeder bikes.
Yeah,
yeah,
they have
those dudes were
Fluttercraft.
awesome.
He would have exposed us for the fact that we weren't coordinating at all and that we were just kind of like nodding and pointing and pretending to be
making
one
really
and the same in a strategy.
super bizarre plays that don't make any sense. Just like good play, Evan. Yes, Evan. All right, I'll go first. So. For a mere 100 points, they had to nerf him, but they can't stop him. Clone Captain Rex, poor Rex. He's still paying for the sins of past times, but I think Rex is fine. And here I'll have a couple points here. One, he does exactly what he looks like he does on the card. So he's a mid-range brawler. The fact that up close and personal is out makes him like kind of nutty with being able to move, shoot twice, get 2 dodges that you can share with the boys, if you will. Cracking a cold one with the boys is pretty cool. I think no, stay positive, Evan. Don't break. Don't break. Don't let him beat you down. I'm like, though this kind of stinks. No. So
I see how much this is hurting you already.
I'm just like, yeah, he's playable. Yeah,
Oh no!
yeah, he's
I'm writing that down as a point. It's playable.
he's
Got it.
he's playable. So I think even how about this? Even I'll say a point and I'll let you counterpoint or bring up a point. Just so I don't have to like keep rambling about bricks and
I like
kind of die in the vine.
No, yeah, that's fair enough. I think the counterpoint would be is that you mentioned that he does what he says on the card, which is somewhat true, in that you mentioned that he's a mid-range character, right? And when you think about it, there's actually not that many characters in the game that are truly baked into only existing at mid-range. Is that I took a look at the rest of the characters, and as far as name characters go, I think it's really only him and Han who are meant to fight, but that they're only meant to fight at that range 1 to 2, which means that if you get beyond that, they have nothing, and if you get them into melee, then they're not doing so great. And I think that it's interesting that Han Solo at 100 points costs the same as Rex, with commands that one might say are slightly better. I'll get to that later. And who also, I think most people would agree, has a significantly better gun at that range 1 to 2 range, and he is steady now. And so when you think about the fact that you have those two characters that do this thing of fighting at close range, but not really close range and not at long range at all, is that he is already starting to seem a little bit troublesome, especially when you think about the fact that Han is pretty good, but Rebel players still don't even bother with him right now.
Yeah, when I was playing clones, when I did my ACO testing, I'd see Han on the table. Like, there's one guy who brought him, and I'm like, oh my god. Like, and we did like long march as far as I could weigh. I'm like, no, we're shoot range 4. We're happy. I don't care if half my army doesn't go. Okay, so yeah, I'd agree with that. But counterpoint, he has so Legion, as you know, is a game that it's just exploding with keywords at this point, and some inconspicuous, incognito, danger sense. They'll have like they do similar things, but they interact with things differently, and it's very confusing. But his special keyword is he's the only one who's got it, which is cool. Scouting Party 2. So I think there's a lot of value in Rex though I will admit that like they should just, it stinks that you have to put the 2-point scouting recon intel on him. Like he just comes with it, right? He just, wherever Rex is, he's
he's really 102 points.
Yeah, right. Like so I'll admit that he's 102 points. I don't know, but they even gave him 2 slots because they knew you were always going to take it. Anyway,
and they knew they were going to give us the jetpack later, so he really, to me anyway, is 107 points, and he doesn't have any gear slots.
They knew. So, Scouting Party 2 is actually, we'll talk about the 501st probably later. I'll bring that up, but yeah.
Yeah, we'll say that for later.
Agree, but I think there's something in there maybe. But so Scouting Party 2 is really strong on a few levels. So the real value of Rex is your opponent not knowing hostage exchange is a bad objective for you and don't give you advanced positions also with hostage exchange. Because you can scout. Yeah, you can scout 3 guys, him and 2 other boys, up to 3, which is nutty. That's reserved to like Imperial Scouts and I think the some other the BXs.
The BX droids, yeah.
The war crime droids. So to see those, look, they got the access grenades. What? That's like illegal. Whatever.
And they impersonated enemy troops, which is also illegal. So
yeah, don't at me, okay?
Sure. Like, don't at me.
Being able to do that, and I think there's an immense value with that. Also, being able to scout Anakin up is part of my devious 501st plan. But so, point is, no matter what they price them at, Scouting Party 2 is like kind of insane. They'd have to price them pretty high, like maybe 150 for me not to even like think about it when I'm building.
Wow. Can you imagine 150 points that basically has
did like nothing.
a slightly worse health pool than like a bunch of Death Troopers?
Oh god. Already another unit's already like in trouble. In parallel.
I do like Scouting Party. It's certainly something that's very useful. I think that it used to be something that you would use to set up take that clankers to make things really awesome, and you can still do that, but generally you can only still do that if your opponent hasn't seen Rex before, which is getting more and more likely, honestly, because if anybody started playing in the last year, they probably haven't seen him, but there's probably a good reason for that. I was writing this down in my imaginary notepad. Is that so? You said that the biggest advantage that Rex has is if your opponent doesn't know the rules about hostage exchange. So that's a good. So I'm writing that down. Depends on your opponent not knowing how to play the game. Okay, I think that's a pretty good one.
Look. It's a strong strategy. All right, that's all I'm saying. It's a top tier strategy if they don't know what's coming.
I'd say that your opponent being inexperienced to the game is the best strategy to win with Rex. Period. So yeah, I'm down with you on that.
All right. I'm gonna interject a little bit just to help out Lightside Evan. If you build the disgusting blue player deck, that's right. Well, I want to let some people know. Like, if you build a disgusting blue player deck with Rex, you might be able to trap them with a hostage exchange. So, for example, Evan, your blue player deck at ACO was pretty good. I think you had hostage, and then
I sure did.
Breakthrough with. I'm talking about your Barks one, right? So you had a bunch of Barks. So you had bombing run, breakthrough, and then payload, right? So like you can, I imagine trick your. I don't want to say trick, but you can force certain situations. With that. So I think Rex is unique in that you can try and push that.
Well, he's one of the few characters who doesn't have a lightsaber where if you get hostage, you're not screwed. You're not like, okay, well, I guess I just lose the faders here. Like, GG, I'll just pick up now. Thanks. You can move him up where moving 2 or God forbid you get advanced positions as well where it's 3 scout up and you can like just, yeah, please run Vader in. Absolutely, you can do that. I will more than happily take that dive, because then my whole army is just going to shoot you. So, or like when I was testing it a lot before ACO, like people would do that. They'd have a lightsaber and they go, "Oh, you're going to let me have hostage exchange?" And I'm like, "You're absolutely right. I'm going to let you have it.
I'll grant you the honor."
Yeah, I'll grant you the honor of taking hostage exchange. Thank you, sir. It's so I think, yeah, that's funny that I say that, but I think it's hostage exchange is one of those objectives that's like so tasty to certain lists. And you're right, people haven't played Rex. When I played him, even at ACO, people are like, "What's he do?" And I'm like, "What do you mean?" Because I've been around since the grass grew for Legion. Opening my core box and not understanding how to read cards and rolling like white defense sight the stormtroopers and be like, "These guys terrible. I don't know what the deal is." 175 points for an airspeeder. That's a deal.
What a steal.
What a steal! Double airspeeder. I'm dead. So I think that it's again, unfortunately, like he's living in the sins of like the bad times, like standby sharing. And I think there's a lot of like weirdly like there are times in games where a unit is so good people like shame you for bringing it. Like that's kind of like where Ion Spiders were slowly getting to, which is weird. Like, oh, double Ion Kalani. Oh, well, look at this guy. And it's like, oh yeah, he wanted to win. Like he plays droids, he wanted to win. Like, what do you? Whatever. Like that's.
You're talking about me. Got it.
Yeah, like no, just in general. Like it's like whatever, man. Like. And so Rex got put in that for a while, and then when you're playing, I don't want to say like honest Rex, because that's what you're playing now is honest Rex. Like, I have to get into range 2, I have to play smart. I can't hope that Take That Clankers will rip 2 activations off the board. Which Take That Clankers. So okay, I'll lead that into my next point. His command cards still rock. They're still like actually awesome. Being able to do, we're not programmed with the 5s in there, so you can give you can almost be droids for a turn. And with aggressive tactics is like, "Hey everybody, welcome to the 3-up parade. That's my defense dice. Hope I roll poorly, or else you're gonna have a bad day." Take That Clankers. It's unfortunate that it got nerfed. Well, maybe not, but it's unfortunate that it got nerfed. And like, if you're new, it's kind of like a weird wording, and like. It can be a gotcha if somebody knows and somebody doesn't. Like, oh, hey, no, you can't actually shoot, even though you put like you got an aim on him somehow because he has to take the aim action to shoot. Whatever. My main problem with like just reprints of some cards aside, I think Take That Clankers is still great. Being able to throw huge Z6 pools is pretty rad. Or even like shotgun at range 3, is pretty good. And then, man, Call Me Captain. Holy cow, is this the rock star of a card? Like, I just think back to the first days of Rex. When it was, I went up, that's how actually I got my RPQ. I went up to a Canadian tournament. I played in a horse barn with 20-something extra people. I think it was like 32 people. We're on the horse barn. Possums were laying on our gear that was set to the side. And Dooku and Rex had just came out. And I remember, like, one guy, because no one knew. Again, I'm talking about no one knows what Rex does. Like, I played him when no one knew him, like, because he was brand new, and then no one knows him because no one cares about him anymore. Except me, the real Rex hero. The real Rex fan. But, yeah, Call Me Captain was like, they would just keep letting me shoot. And the answer is you just kill Rex, right? Or you double the fall him or something. But to just keep me get, like, extra dice. Yeah, something, right?
Like anything. The thing about Call Me Captain, and it is a great card, is that it requires setup first of all, in a way that's fairly telegraphed. But the reason why you have to do that level of setup is that it's kind of unique in terms of one pips in the way that I don't think there's very many that can be completely turned off in so many different ways. Like, obviously, you could just kill him, which isn't all that hard with 5 health and no immunity to pierce. Or you could take his token away, or you could melee him. And so I think to me that's why if you are playing him, the jetpack becomes a requirement because the jetpack allows you to at least get up onto elevated terrain to a point where getting meleeed is less likely. Of course, if they have jump or scale, then that advantage can kind of go away. But yeah, at the end of the day, Call Me Captain is very strong, but there are many ways to nullify it. And at the end of the day, it does usually leave him out in the open. So like you might be getting your cool fire support shots in, but then at the same time, Rex is getting shot up. And I sometimes find myself racing to like get fire support shots in before he inevitably dies that very turn.
So yeah, to your point, that is probably the turn he goes. But that's almost okay because usually he'll be in heavy cover and have a few dodges available to him via, not via up close and personal. That's not how that works. But usually I'll have vigilance and a clone commander just holding something around so he can pull. But honestly, it's feels kind of great to fire support into a Wookiee punch and just be like, well, here's 8 dice and here's 3 more red. Surge to hit. All right, let's go, boys. Or my other deep thought is deep thoughts with Evan. Anakin swinging his lightsaber with a fire supported Call Me Captain to just remove something from the table. Like here's 5, 6, 7, 8 red. That's not 9 if I have a tenacity. Mm-hmm. Or a flamethrower ARTRT shooting like his load of black dice plus 3 more red. Those 3 red add up, and I honestly think even if he dies that turn, if you can get it off like 4 times, that's another 12 red dice. I think it's worth it. Even if he does, if they have to start shooting at him, I think you've made the play. Not every soldier gets to come home. Sometimes you have to write a Dear John letter after a bad clone fight. But I think that's probably good. Okay, all right, okay, all right. Hit me in the eye. So, all right, next, let's talk about. All right, okay, let's talk about his upgrade cards that are available to him. He's got a really good belt. I usually call the thing on the side their belt of just all the stuff they can do. So grenades, okay, like no one cares. You never know a grenade. No, yeah, maybe smokes. I guess
maybe smoke grenades now that they're free action. Yeah,
I guess I don't know. No one's whatever. It's like Cad Bane maybe. Random people have grenades and never gonna use them. So we already talked about you're probably doing scouting and jetpack. But before jetpack, I used to do stims on him for that big play where he's got 7 hit points now or 6. Intrinsically, but keeping him alive that extra turn is pretty good. But okay, I was joking about it, but now I'm serious. Tenacity Rex, baby. Jump into melee with me. Here's 3 red. Here's a haymaker. I used to love Tenacity Han. I'm just like, jump into melee. Surge to crit, baby. So joking aside, I don't think that's like the worst play. But before... I actually don't like O-Push on him because you probably use it twice, and is 2 aims worth 4 points? Probably, because he gets the free recover, but does he live long enough to do it, and do you have to play it early enough where he won't get it? So I think it's like low-key funny, but like someone's gonna rock up into you to like try to stop you from moving into a deployment zone, and then you just roll 3 red dice, search to crit, and they're like, oh, you're like, yep, pick up that B1 droid, please, thanks. Also, his command slot is pretty great. He's one of the few characters that can use everything. I don't really think there's a bad command card on him. Maybe even a steamed isn't bad if you want to just keep him alive for that big play. Because vigilance, clones like aggressive tactics, commanding presence. Sure, it's good for we're not programmed. Steam leader, talked about being able to pass it off to like maybe some phase 2s who have 3-ups. Improvised orders, not bad. Inspiring presence, sure. Most things are like if we're doing 501st, everything's Scourge 2, so no, but maybe phase 1s. And okay, lead by example. Can we talk about how that art hits me pretty deep. Like what a great art. And the worst part is it's like not played, and it kills me because that's like people forget clones are like have these like cool emotional storylines, and it's sad that they just get kind of boiled down to like, haha, man in armor shoot gun at robot, haha. So lead by example. Okay on him if you're playing Phase 1. Strict Orders is good. Like Underworld Connections if you want to take more pikes or that second swoop.
Probably pikes.
Yeah, bro.
Second swoop.
Take that second swoop.
No,
But
Yes, please. I'd like to be worse than both of the other speeders in the army.
it's so bad. But I mean, like, there's not. If someone rocked up, pretty much if someone brought a Rex with any card there to a table, I wouldn't be like, he doesn't know how to play. Like, it's all of them can have some use.
I do think he's a little pigeonholed into aggressive tactics if he's the only person who's going to be issuing commands, because he really needs those surges for defense.
I think any Clone Wars faction commander is.
I mean,
honestly.
that's true of any like clone-based list.
Yeah,
And
any clone
yeah.
faction or even droids. I think you're using that. It's like it's one of aggressive tactics. Is one of those cards where I think they could have just made it 10 points and said, "Hey, only Clone Wars factions can take this." And I don't think
Totally
anyone would have been really upset about that. Like, it's okay to make faction specific cards. Like, it's all right. Like, no one's gonna be mad about it. Like, just sorry, this is your reward for playing the robots, right?
Yeah, these are some good points. Damn. Making compelling arguments. I mean, do you have any more? Like,
I can keep going.
All
right.
well, let's hear from Darkside. Let's hear from Darkside, Evan.
I think that to go back to the command card stuff a little bit is that we talked about his 3-pip. I think it's okay. I think the problem is that it tries to do things that other command cards are more effective at because they go all in on one effect. Is that we're not programmed. Instead, it's like a dash of Inspire 2 and a little sprinkle of a bunch of order tokens, and then a recover that's just for him. And at the end of the day, is that it means that it is kind of versatile, but it's versatile in the way that it's okay at shifting advantage a tiny bit in multiple different situations. But honestly, like these days, people probably aren't running exhaustible upgrades on Rex anyway, so the recover is just a way to deal with the fact that he has a heinously unimpressive courage 2 for being one of the heroes in the Clone Wars TV show, and who's always like seen just diving headfirst into a fight, and he has the same courage value as a regular tactical droid. So
Yeah, what a shame.
that seems cool. And then we haven't talked too much about Take That Clankers yet. So like, look, Take That Clankers was a problem. I will admit that, and I may or may not have used that card to my advantage many times when it was a problem, and I may feel a little bit bad about that. But I'm curious, like, do any of you think that Take That Clankers at its that Take That Clankers with single aim sharing would still be a more effective command than Tactical Strike?
Oh. I've been talking for a while, so I'll...
John, you're the clone player out of all of us, so do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like when you couldn't share multiple aims and surges, it pretty much took the juice out of the attack. Because to throw one extra aim, when you have that many white non-surging die, it doesn't really have the punch that it used to have. Like, you needed those surge tokens and multiple aims to get to 8 or 9 hits. And it was usually, like, 3 or 4 aims and a couple surges from your phase 2s. So since that's not a thing, I think that almost fixed the problem immediately when they took away token sharing, for sure.
I totally agree. And they even did one other thing that we don't talk about much, which is that they made it clone trooper only, which took away the interaction that it had with the shooty wooks, which I thought was actually pretty fun and pretty cool at the time. So yeah, is that, and I said single aim sharing, but you also mentioned the surges, is that it's single token sharing. So you have to either pick aim or surge. You're probably going to pick aim. And then these units, if they have aggro tech and their phase 2s, then they'll have 2 surges of their own to spend, which will usually be enough. But yeah, like the thing about Take That Clankers now is that I don't personally find it fun to play, which is to say that like you have to set up your core the turn beforehand in exactly the right way that you're truly taking advantage of it, because when it's just about shooting distance, is that there's only a couple millimeters of difference between a aim shoot and a move shoot when you're talking about these weapons. So like the aim shoot at range 4 and a move shoot at range 3, is that it's only a couple millimeters difference than that. And so yes, you get the aim token, but I don't know if you guys have looked at the numbers of phase 2 clone troopers right now with their efficacy on attack, but an aimed Z6 shot from a phase 2 is only slightly less effective than an unaimed shot from either the Pike unit, which costs less at 80 points, or the Rebel DLT Captain Squad, which also costs less and is going to have infinite dodges to spend. So I think that the current state of Take That Clankers is very much a reaction to what's probably like 3 metas ago now, but it's unlikely to see any kind of changes back because as far as I know, they haven't done anything to where they actually like go back and forth with regards to strengthening and then weakening a card and then going back again. So it probably is where it is. And yeah, I don't find the meticulous setup that you have to do to take advantage of that command very fun or dynamic right now. I liked being able to move, shoot, and sweep at range 4, and it was too much with infinite sharing, but I think right now it'd be totally fine.
I agree with that point. I think that if we could get to the happy medium, where if it's as long as it's a self-generated aim token, like from Tactical, I think that would be fine. You can't use one from another clone or from Exemplar. You have to be the one to create the aim so that it's not as telegraphed anymore. I think that would be the happy medium at this point.
Totally agree.
It's a shame that it's like they didn't know how to fix clones because they hit them so many times with a Nerf bat. So, yeah, single token sharing is reasonable because it used to be the clone.
Good change.
Yeah, like that was fine, right? No one's real like. I mean, if you were only a clone player, sorry, like, and you're like, oh man, my.
I was,
yeah,
and when I saw that change, I was like, good, and then I saw the Clankers change, and then I saw the ARC Trooper change.
It just kept going, like, even. Okay, we'll tangent here because I think this is something that like is talked about, but like, well, this is a good tangent. Like, I was thinking about it after ACO, and Echo feels miserable. Echo Strike Team, you're like, oh, you've got 2 dodges on Pikes. Well, that was even pre-Pikes. That was pre-Pikes, and I felt miserable. Pikes, Rebel Troopers. You've got 2 dodges on a those robots I hate, the punchy
Magna
robots. Magna Guard, yeah. Those robots I have a blood vendetta against. They had like 2 dodges and heavy cover, and they had SA, and so I'm just like, do I shoot a B1? And like, yeah, my 70-point strike team killed 4 points. This feels good. Like it's really like they took critical 1 away from the ARC Troopers. like who cares anymore? Like the game is so.
I feel like they can
changed.
give it back and it wouldn't change a thing.
No, it really wouldn't.
I don't think it would change anything. It's so bad. Right now.
It would against the Empire, but that's about it.
Right. But like that's okay though.
If the meta shifted towards the Civil War factions because they're the only ones that are getting releases for like the next year and a half or whatever, then yeah, like getting crit back would be better, especially given the fact that most of those Civil War lists are running snipers, and currently the only thing that Republic has going for it against snipers is Echo. So like not the generic ARC Trooper, because they're never going to get past low profile now.
Oh my god, that's
it's
right.
literally just Echo.
John, what do you think? Actually, you're the clone player.
I mean, I feel like high velocity is a must because everything, all the dodge spam.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the only way around it. But even then, you have all the situational awareness units that are just gonna be like, oh, okay, one crit, goodbye.
Yeah, feels bad.
So it just feels bad. Yeah, I mean, I have not played a Arc Strike team since the nerf. It's been all Wookiees, honestly.
I played it in 501st and I hated it. Shot into, it's like when any dodge ruins your day, it's just like you end up using them as batteries for free aims for other guys that can actually do damage.
Yeah, don't
With
give
their
them
tactical
critical
aims.
again. Just give them high velocity.
Yeah, it's
Something.
because I think the talk about Rex really folds into the talk about the Clone Wars faction as a whole, almost, which is an interesting spot because it's my goal when I always have a goal when I make a list. I get really weirdly like obsessed over. The first one was Vader Lat, and I'm like, everyone says it's bad, but I know it's good. Like outside with like
It's very fun.
just
You
in
should
my
then.
just in my underwear with like a cardboard sign over my chest, like the end is nigh. It's gonna be too good. You don't know. And so when you and I started messing around with Rex because we got in the Fifth Trooper, we collect a lot of data just kind of to mull over more or less through different tournaments. Bushfax is actually most of that. And I think, Evan, you brought up that it was like Rex was like played twice in like 60 games or something. It was some like obscenely low number. I don't remember what it was specifically.
Yeah, so I think his total game count now from the last year, at least in the tournaments that we have data on, which is, I think, pretty much all of like the really big ones and then some locals that end up getting in there, is that I think he's been played 45 times or so. And in those 45 games, the team that had him has won 38% of the time.
Yeah.
Which is the only unit with a lower percentage than that is the Gav tank.
So I saw that and I got like a fire under me, and I'm like, I'll make Rex good. And that was hard. And I'm not saying I even did it because I got to day 2 against my good friend Austin from Florida, and he ran Dooku Triple Magna. He just tabled me. He just ran me right. I've never been like tabled before in my life, and I was like, "Yep, well, this is happening." But
yeah, Evan, I think that Rex wasn't good, is that you were good.
yeah, that's maybe that's the thing is because I try to stay very humble and dour about my playing, but because most of it was like people just didn't know what Rex did. I'm like, yeah, and that was before Up Close and Personal too, because that came out with the Scum card pack. So I was using like, I don't even know if I think I just ran them just with Scouting Party, maybe O Push. But he like, honestly, okay, it was triple Barks being 55 points is kind of nutty and good. And if you're not playing triple Barks in your list, play triple Barks. It's good. It's fine. Don't put a card on him. That's a trap. Don't do it. So triple Barks, and then with Rex, I had like a linebacking group of Wookiees that I scouted up in times to like stop a melee charge. He's good. The core of him is good. The 10-point, he can go back down to 90. No one cares. No one's like, with all the changes they've made, and we were talking about the Take That Clanker change. Like again, your point, John, like nobody cares. Like you're sharing like one aim and a surge, right? Like
Yeah, it's fine.
yeah, whatever. Like, dude, some command cards now. Talk about like crazy.
Boba Fett
like
3.
yeah, like how about
You're saying that Boba Fett 3 is less busted than Take That Clankers.
yeah.
Get out
Oh
of
my
here.
god, I can't wait for that card, but then also at the same time, I don't want to be on the receiving end of that card.
Oh, I'm getting
It's
shot
tough,
with
man.
3
It's tough.
snipers with 2 black and white surge to hit. Great. This like or just
Seems awesome.
anything.
My shore trooper gun line got better, got an extra black die. Oh,
holy smokes!
holy cow.
It's weird that they don't just like. It's okay to unnerf things to be like, nah, man, just do whatever you want with Rex. It's fine. Like, because look at Cody. Like, Cody's nothing but keywords. There's nothing on that card
Keyword
but
soup.
just single word keywords, and they're that many to the point where I would never have thought they would have just done that. Where it's just like, and there's keywords like at the bottom of his card that are like linked together because they ran out of like text room because they didn't shorten the font a little bit. It's crazy. Like, and he's like 105 or something. He's coming out at.
Yeah.
And you're telling me my boy Rex here, honorable warrior, hero of the Clone Wars, leader of the 501st.
First two.
Super
all right,
nice
we're
guy.
tangenting. I'm gonna
but-
try and steer us in a direction really quick. So we've talked a lot about regular list building. What do we think about the Battle Force 501st? Can that save Rex in any capacity?
So, leader of the 501st? Yeah, actually, he's pretty good in there. Mostly because you don't have any other choice. Well, okay, so my list that I've been mulling about is I know you've got a lot of thoughts on this, Evan, about the 501st.
I've written them all down, so you go ahead.
Yeah, so I'll make mine real quick. I think the way to play it is my thought is Anakin, Captain Rex. Anakin's got whatever you want. The choke, push, tenacity, seize. That's fine. Rex up close, intel, jetpacks, 2 ATRTs, flamethrower, comms jammer, arc troopers, full squad echo, naked phase 2 with 5s, and then a strike team, 8-ax. I think you can just be aggressive enough to really get in there. Also, speaking of not take that clankers, I threw that out. That was like my first for this, and I went with lead from the front, which is whoever thought fully within one. I don't know, man. But
Poorly worded.
yeah,
Yeah, the within sucks.
but with being able to either give that to Rex and then pop C's on Anakin, or to give that to Anakin, whatever we want to do. I think the first way I said it's right. Anakin gets a free dodge
Yeah. That's how I would do it.
and an order. That's really having 3/1 pips is really good for Anakin. The problem with the 501st is you really need to play all of Anakin's cards. So how do you do that with also taking advantage of the 501st? But I think that's pretty solid. You can they have to get rid of the ATRTs, right? So my thought is you run those up. Anakin follows them up. He got scouted up by Rex. Rex is up there too, and now you've got 4 pretty big threats, and probably the ARC troopers with Echo are up there too. You're just pressing W and moving your whole army up to fight. I don't know if it's good. It's my thought. I've tried a lot of stuff because I'm a big lat guy, so I threw a lat in there with Anakin, and that didn't seem good. But honestly, I think Rex is pretty pivotal because up close and personal is kind of nutty, especially on gunslinger units. So take advantage of that to share dodges to all the clone guys. But I think 501st has paths to victory. It's not write-offable. I'm trying to choose my words very closely. It's not like complete dog water, but it's like hard, man.
They have a tough time.
Yeah, I think that's my way. I'm going to try it for a while. Is that list? But I think he and playing Anakin and Rex, it sounds crazy because you wouldn't normally do that in anything else. Is you just have to embrace the low activation count and go full hero hammer, and just go for it.
Yeah, the 501st list that I like the most, which is to say, I guess, that I dislike the least, does have Rex. It doesn't have Anakin. And the main reason is just the command card awkwardness, is that when you basically almost always need to play Anakin 3 first, and then you usually want to play Anakin 2 second, so that you get 5 turns of a dodge token that's shareable, is then you're getting to the point of you're starting to question why you have morphed around your list so much just to get access to maybe 2 501st commands that are helpful but not really game breaking in terms of the getting the red rally dice and then get the one with the 3 free tokens is pretty nice if you can squish your army close enough to each other. But yeah, I think the real drag of 501st is just that everything's so expensive. Anakin is really awkward with command tokens. The regular arc strikes that don't have echo in them are absolutely terrible and can't do damage to anybody. And phase 2s on their own are just relatively very ineffective for their cost. And then you kind of top it all off with the fact that they don't even let you take the 3 naked barks, is that they limit you to 2 of them, which means that you can't activation pad the way you'd want to, and you can't bid for the kind of battle cards that you'd really want to, because your army ends up being kind of a jumble. So yeah, 501st is very, very sad sauce for me.
Yeah, it's tough. So normally I have these wild ideas. I think I could make something work, and this is the first time where I'm legitimately I built something that looked okay with 2 clone commanders. None of the. But then why am I even playing 501st? I'm playing 501st because I want to play.
Right.
I want to relive scenes from the show, right? I want to. That's why I'm playing Echo Base Defenders, is because I want to be Echo Base from the movie, right? It's I guess I'm playing Blizzard Force because it's good. It's just the tagline.
Remember the speeders?
You're playing Blizzard Force because of the iconic scene where 8 Imperial speeder bikes, dove in to the rebel defenses in the middle of the blizzardy winter.
But yeah,
and then the stormtroopers without snow gear that were packing extra heavy heat, followed in after them. That was my favorite part of Empire Strikes Back.
It's just wild that so they made a statement that battle forces aren't supposed to be competitive, or they not all will be, and I'll take that. Okay, you should. I've wanted Hoth and Echo Base forever. I used to play. It was 2 tons, a 1.4 snow speeder, Leia, 3 vets and 3 Mark IIs or 2 Mark IIs or something. I played that forever because I wanted to play Echo Base, and I didn't care. But I had to take a lot of setbacks to do that. I had to take a lot of penalties to do that. And I think it's cool that you get rewarded for that now. It's just the rewards. Hot take, maybe? Does it feel like these were built pre-nerf and they just never kind of adjusted them?
Yeah. I definitely think so. I think it's also the odd requirements for building this list. You have to take a special forces, which has to be a full arc, and you have to take a support. If it was you have to take at least one or the other, then you'd have more flexibility with building the list. But the fact that you're mandated to, have a commander, have a core, have a special force, and a support, it really messes with your list building options.
Yeah, it's strange. I'm going to be playing this for a little while. The list I said, because I think I need to really play it a lot to either be definitively on the this is bad or this is fine under very certain circumstances, line. But I know already building it. I went to TTS before we were waiting to get on the cast. I kind of put all the models out, and I'm like, oh my god, there's nothing here. There's I'm just man, I already hate. I've been very famously against snipers. I hate them, but I'm they're just chew me apart. Gosh, I hope I don't get some of the tables I play on at store. We play on a couple hours away. their terrains are 40k terrains. So they don't have line of sight blocking terrain. You have to like be the other guy. Like, hey, this is a wall you can't see through, even though it's full of holes, and you just can't because otherwise, I'll just get eaten alive at range 5, and my sniper can't hurt yours. So, GG, I guess, right? It really hurts, but I got to play it. But my shenanigans are like, well, you dive Anakin in. Maybe you looks like you're gonna fake a call me captain. You lead from the front. Give Anakin a dodge probably. He takes his C's. Give him a dodge. Maybe you even find a way to take a standby. Like you dive in, take a standby, and then you can have a flamer. One of the ATRTs like take that standby to flame something else. That seems pretty good. Being able to wipe like multiple units off with a flamethrower. That is if they survive. Everything's got impact and critical X now, like ATRTs. I'm trying, man. I'm just like, ooh,
that's funny because Rex was nowhere in there.
Yeah, well, like
he's not part of that battle plan.
It's the Rex battle plan is Rex
get into range 2 somehow.
Yeah,
do Rex things.
Up close
don't
and
get
personal.
melee.
Yeah, dude, up close and personal on Rex is pretty nutty. And being able to fire support with your guys is good. He can remove units pretty well. You're probably getting 2 over cover, and if you're fighting anything that doesn't, the problem is like, man, dodge spam is real. And he doesn't have high velocity or pierce even, which is wild to me. I guess I always had to. I used to get Sabine and Rex mixed up with the range 2 shots. One's pierce, one's just hits a lot. Yeah, it's tough because I want to play a thematic list that's good, and the way that the guy or girl, whoever made it, envisioned it to be, but it just not even competitively. Like even like a local, I'm like, oh man. That's
the really sad thing is that 501st is not just about being competitively weak, is that I don't think it's fun either. There's plenty of competitively weak lists that are extremely fun, and for this one I don't even think it's all that weak competitively, but anything based around Fluttercraft, anything based around shooty wooks, or just like diving in with a pure Wookiee list with a bunch of with a chieftain and a bunch of melee wooks, is that it's true that stuff isn't gonna really fly on a big con tournament, but man, it's really fun to play, and it does feel thematic. And with 501st, is that to me it just checks 0 of those boxes.
Yeah. So how about we do this? Why don't both of you give like a 30-second like closing argument, and then we can start doing some of our final judgments. What do you guys think?
Cool. All right. Sorry, I'm getting I'm trying to condense this into 30 seconds to not a standard Evan rant. Okay. Rex is still good. Experiment and don't get stuck into how to play it the way you think it should be played and try things out. But putting Rex down on the table is still a very solid unit, and you're going to catch a lot of people off guard. And you get to yell, "They call me captain," every time you play the card. And I think screaming Clone Wars quotes at the top of your lungs at a local store while people are playing Magic next to you there's not anything quite like it. So that's my closing argument.
Excellent. All right, other Evan?
I'm going to keep my closing argument real brief, is that it's very hard to think of lists where Rex would serve more of a purpose than a generic clone commander.
Okay, solid. Brendan, how about we pick you first for judgment?
Oh, well, okay. I didn't want to go first, but I'll do it.
Oh, okay, then we can move along to John. John is the clone player.
So I am going to say Inglorious. Pretty swift judgment. I also made a list of a couple things that I think would potentially fix Rex, but I'll hold those to the end. But for now, I'm going to say Inglorious.
Inglorious. All right. To give Brendan some more time, I'll go. This is tough because I've gotten beat by Rex so many times in the past, and then by Evan when he was quote unquote bad. But overall, he leans more towards Inglorious, and I can't give him like, well, he's okay if you build him this way, because if I do that, then Rex doesn't really do much. It's just the supporting it's the other units that are doing the work rather than Rex doing the work. So unfortunately, Inglorious.
Brendan
I
doesn't
can't
even have to
break a
vote now.
tie.
Yeah. No, it's just I'm already buried. It's fine.
I'm sorry, Evan.
Well,
But Brendan, what are your thoughts?
I was going to say he's actually glorious. I mean, he feels pretty thematic, as a unit, for how we see him portrayed in the Clone Wars. Aside from his courage, I mean, he runs up and he shoots things, and he's got his guys following him to do it. And I think the only reason people are not playing him is just because it's tough to give him what he needs around him. It's not that he's a bad unit, it's that the faction is overcosted and doesn't have the tools to make the best use of him as a result.
Right. Very true.
Rocked.
So you heard it here first. Rex Inglorious.
It's
I tried.
no, hey,
Didn't have an easy job to do.
no, it's
I wasn't jealous of your position going into this.
it's the game has grown away from Rex, and he just feels
Yes.
like a relic of the past. And
He's still
Rex didn't
very
change.
good.
We did.
oh yeah, so
He's
as
still
a
very
But he
good.
did.
I lost to him at Nova, so that was my only loss, was against a Rex list. So.
no, I don't think he's like a bad unit. I think they need to. John will. I don't want to steal John's thunder here, but they need to drop him back to 90 and just let him live in that like I'm a brawler, close range, and instead of trying to prop him up as like a because why does he like direct clone trooper with a generic clone commander is just so good. Why would you ever? It's like why is that on like a generic guy? Like my boy here can't have that, but like this no name commander can. Like it just creates so much. But yeah, he was like Han, where the game just kind of grew away from Han or old Commander Vader. Like they just kind of like before the updates. But
Yeah, John, do you have any further thoughts on how you might?
Yeah,
fix
well,
Rex?
I was kind of taking notes, and it's all stuff that I thought in the past. But a couple things that I feel like Rex is missing, and you guys pretty much covered it all in pieces, was like he really needs to be Courage 3. Otherwise, he's basically just generic clone commander.
Mm-hmm.
If he had Direct, so you could use him to also get that order out and at least have one fire support set up or give it to 5s to double up. Because again, that's actually what I feel like I miss most, not having the clone commander if I have Rex. So you pretty much have to have both if you're doing like a all clone trooper list. Which, if you don't have the token sharing, I've pretty much completely diverted to Wookiees ever since the nerf.
you're not wrong.
Yeah, I mean, I think, and they're fun to play.
You're
like
not wrong
Evan had
there either.
mentioned.
Yeah.
I was really sad when they removed that Wookiees couldn't take that clankers. Like that was to me, I was like, oh, Rex can do this. Like this is gonna be great. But then, nope, not so much.
Yeah,
anymore.
I mean, Padme to me is almost like what I used to use Rex for in Rexstar. She can get double aim dodge or double dodge aim. All of her cards are awesome because they generate even more tokens that she can share around. And she's 10 points cheaper. And then also, I think he needs Sharpshooter 2 instead of Sharpshooter 1, because it's great that you're probably going to get, 3 hits most of the time, 2 hits sometimes, but if something's in heavy cover, you're going to, lose 2 or 1 because he's got Sharpshooter 1. But if you could safely actually see those hits go through with Sharpshooter 2, if things are in heavy cover, it doesn't feel as bad as like, all right, I jump out, I hit you for 2, 1 goes away, and then I hit you for 3, 1 goes away. So really only had 3 hits between 2 separate units. And then if they have dodges, then even more goes away. And it doesn't seem crazy, because when you think about Han and Sabine, they have Pierce on the same kind of gunslinger pool. And yeah, so I mean, and Impervious. I don't know if I had mentioned that one.
Yeah.
Because otherwise,
Yeah.
if he doesn't have Surge on defense, you see how fragile Maul can be. and he doesn't, and Rex obviously doesn't have deflect. So I just feel like if you're going to put him in a compromising position, he doesn't surge on defense, and he can't share unlimited dodges from his fellow clone troopers, and he doesn't have impervious. He just seems like an easy kill. Especially if he's sitting at range 2. He's in the threat range
Of everything.
Of like everything. Yeah, I mean, he's basically a sitting duck, I feel like, at that point.
So I agree with you. He should have impervious because he's a clone captain for arcs, and arcs have impervious.
Yeah,
So
that's what I was thinking.
cowards give him impervious.
I've been over here dreaming for the last 2 minutes about air support with Sharpshooter 2 and Rex, and then just killing all 3 sniper squads at the same time.
Oh man, look, it's their fault for leaving them out. That's
Yeah,
that's
that's right.
If that's where we need to be
I
to
mean,
make them better,
it's
then I'll
Clone's
take
fault
it.
for not being Blizzard Force, who can take
True.
out 2 because they have blast.
Oh, that's right.
Oh my god, yeah.
Yeah.
And suppressive.
That's right.
Yeah, icing on
and
the cake.
beam and like whatever else they want.
It's only beam 1.
It's a good
not
thing
beam
they're
2.
not competitive.
All right, well, that was an awesome debate, you two. I very much appreciate you guys coming on. Hope to maybe go on Evan's cast, Lightside Evans cast again. Then we'll have you on again maybe another time if you have like another grudge match.
Oh,
We'll figure
we
it-
have
we'll figure
plenty
something
of
out.
grudges.
Oh yeah,
excellent.
when we hate each other, so we can come up with pretty much anything.
100% not.
We'll have
100%
grudge
not
match about
friends.
Awesome.
Oh wait, we weren't supposed to say that out
Oh
loud.
man,
we're good. We're
Oh,
good
no.
buds. We can talk about whatever.
All right, so Evan the Raccoon, where can we find you?
The Fifth Trooper podcast. We're also starting a podcast called The Fifth Tile, which will be talking about just other games besides Legion. We're still not stopping Legion content. That's still coming through 100% the way it is. I just like to experiment, but Fifth Trooper, find us on the YouTube. Right there. I don't write articles, though. That's the Dark Evans job.
Evan Paul, where we can find you? Yeah.
You can find me on a website called The Fifth Trooper, where I write things. Most of the time, I actually write about things that are kind of silly. So hopefully, folks can
best
get on there
articles.
and read them to have a little bit of a break from the meta talk. But most of all, I just have fun writing, and they don't let me on the podcast, so that's what I have to do.
You got good articles up, sir, so I appreciate them.
All right, thank you.
Yeah. Well, you guys should like our page on Facebook. Search for the Inglorious Blasters, a Star Wars Legion podcast. Follow us on Instagram at SWL Inglorious Blasters. If you think our judgment is wrong, tell us. We want you to ask questions. Give us general smack talk. You can send us an email at swlingloriousblasters@gmail.com.
You can also join our Discord. You can find links to that on our Podbean page and also on our Facebook. Otherwise, if you are already on Discord, you can reach out to us on the main Legion Discord. It's just our names followed by Inglorious Blasters.
Thanks a lot again for coming on. It was a blast. I had a lot of fun.
No problem. I love coming on. Now
Thank
I
you
do.
very much.
Now I do. Now I love coming on. That is.
Nice. I was gonna say, yeah.
First time.
Excellent. All right, and with that, stay glorious, everyone. I'm Corey.
I'm John.
I'm Brendan. I bet that the Rebel Rex will have more keywords.
Ouch.
Sad but true. Sad but true.